Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today is going to be the second part of my fall wrap-up. So this is going to be all of the fiction books that I read. I managed to read 5 nonfiction, 5 fiction, so I figured I'd split them up, nonfiction and fiction. So I will link my nonfiction wrap-up down below, and also kind of in a card, whichever side the cards are on. So the first book that I read is Changeless by Gail Carriger. Now this is the second book in the Parasol Protectorate series. I read Soulless last year, really enjoyed it. This book series is a bit like candy. It's really easy to read, they're really fun. It takes place in like a steampunk Victorian London. Our main character, who I believe is supposed to be pictured on the front here, is what people call a preternatural, is what I want to say. She's somebody who, when she touches either a werewolf or a vampire, makes them mortal again. I won't say too much about this if you are into kind of steampunk, Victorian kick, but people, then you might like this. Like I said, it is a bit like candy, so it's really easy and fun to read. The second book I read was an ebook that I got from the library. Now this book, I feel like, is very polarizing. Either people have really loved it or people have really hated it. So many of the people I like are kind of on either side of the fence. And that book is Every Heart a Doorway by Shannon McGuire. Shannon McGuire. So this book talks about children who have been to fairylands, and when they come back, they have a really hard time adjusting to the real world because they kind of went to a place that they now consider their home. So they have a home, and it's called the Home for Wayward Children, where the parents send their children to kind of be rehabilitated. Now, this book, I think, would be really good for people who like Peculiar Children, the book by Ransom Riggs. I enjoyed it quite a bit more. I thought that this book was really interesting, and it was a very simplistic way of writing. So if you're looking for something that's very weird and wacky and literary, this is not going to be it. But it was so fun. I would definitely try it out if you're into that sort of thing. Like I said, it does kind of have a feel of the Ransom Riggs books, but I did enjoy this one quite a bit more. I really liked the ending. I think the way she handled the children was really interesting, and it was different. And I appreciated that. I appreciated the fact that the way the children were handled were a little bit different. So after I finished that book, she is now going back and writing some of the like backstories of these children who we met in the home. So she's writing about their fairy tale realm and kind of their story as to why they came back. So I went and I picked up the second book, which is Down Among the Sticks and Bones, which I have right here. And this follows two of the main characters, two twin sisters, Jack and Jill. This book I didn't enjoy as much. I think the first book was done really well, had enough of like a fairy tale feel. This book was obviously trying to be a fairy tale, so it was kind of too much of a mixture of both. It was too much of a mixture for me of fairy tale feel versus like a YA book, and it just didn't quite groove with me. I don't know if I think it quite did what it wanted to. I think the first book is great, so if you are interested in it, then try out the first book. Again, they're very small, so they don't take very much time to read, but it was really good, the first book. I would continue on. I'm going to continue on, I think, just to see if they do some more of the characters that I like. Next up, I read Burial Rites by Hannah Kent. This has been a book that everybody has been talking about since it came out. I was never really interested in reading it because I don't necessarily go for books that deal with like Iceland. I know that's like a thing people really like. That's not really a reason for me to pick something up, but I actually was told the synopsis of this, and I was like, maybe that is something I like. So this is actually based on a true story with some liberties taken, obviously, about the last person executed in Iceland. She was executed because she was charged with the murder of 2 people, along with a couple other people who helped her. Now, most of this book I really liked. I really liked the way that they talked about this condemned woman. I liked the setting of where she was living. The only thing that really kind of got me was the ending. I wanted the ending to be drawn out a little bit more. I wanted a little bit more just substance with the ending. The rest of the book I thought was really interesting because you're kind of trying to figure out what happened, you know, why she murdered these people. Did she murder these people? You know, is her execution warranted, or has something else happened? So that was really interesting. The ending, like I said, actually when she, because it's no surprise, she gets executed. When she goes to be executed, that needs to be drawn out, in my opinion. But I am actually going to pick up her next book, which is The Good People. I don't know if it's out in the States yet, but I do actually want to read that. I think her way of writing is very, very pretty. I felt cold the whole time I was reading this. I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh, it's October, and it's like actually was like 80 degrees. But I was cold, and I was like, wait a minute. This is why I don't read things about Iceland, because everything feels cold and dark. So that was Burial Rites by Hannah Kent. All right, and the last book that I read was We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. Now, look, I read a book that I own. Also, this was one of the books that I said I was going to read this year. Most of those books I have not read, so that'll be a fun video come January. So this book, I've read Shirley Jackson before. I read The Lottery. I feel like everybody has probably read The Lottery. If you don't think you have, you probably have, you just don't remember the name of it. This was really good. It's very small, but this is not a complaint about this book. It is a complaint about another book. So I read The Knife Drawer by Padraic Tarrant last year, I think. This book was basically The Knife Drawer, but told better. And that annoyed me because this is a famous classic book. I don't know if Tarrant states that this was an inspiration, but it was so obviously an inspiration that it drove me a little bit nuts and kind of diminished the feel of this book because I had already read The Knife Drawer. That's one of the things that kind of annoyed me the most, was that The Knife Drawer is like 400 pages long and written very like flowery and kind of over the top for me. This is short, written very simply, and does such a better job at doing what I think The Knife Drawer was trying to do. So that's my opinion. Still very good. I'm glad that I own it. I think it's going to be a book that's going to get better as I revisit it, because I think there are going to be some things that I pick up on that I didn't pick up on the first time. I did read this on Halloween, so I actually, I felt very festive. But Shirley Jackson is like a classic American author. If you haven't read anything of hers, I would definitely try to pick up some more of her stuff. I think read The Lottery. If you don't remember reading it, read The Lottery again because it's crazy and great and I really like it. So yeah, I'm gonna definitely pick up some more Shirley Jackson. I don't know which one I'll pick up next, probably The Haunting on Hill House. So those were all of the fiction books that I read in October, September-ish, just this kind of fall time. That went really quickly. I feel like I've forgotten something. Maybe I just had a lot more to speak about in my nonfiction books. That could be. So let me know what you guys think down below. Let me know if you've read any of these books, if you plan on reading any of these books. Dale me in the comments section down below, and I will see you guys very soon with another video. Bye. I will talk to you guys very soon with another video. I won't see you. You'll see me. But that's how YouTube works.